If you travel or fish anywhere around northeast Oklahoma, I'm sure you've heard of Grand Lake. It gets a lot of attention. It's got lots of marinas and lodging and nightlife and restaurants. It's a really popular place. The Bassmaster Classic was even held there a couple of years. But what some folks may not know is it's got a little brother just downstream, and it's got good fishing too. We explore new territory on this week's show. Glad you're with us. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hey everybody, so glad you're with us for this week's episode. We are coming to you from a little bit south of the beautiful Grand Lake located in northeastern Oklahoma, and we are on Lake Hudson. Now I want to show you just a little snippet here. This is the boat ramp. This is one of the major coves on Lake Hudson. This lake has got spotted bass, largemouth bass, crappie, catfish, white bass, even paddlefish in it. It's a really good fishery. Now just to get you oriented, it's Grand Lake on the north. The Neosho, or the Grand River as it's called, runs out of there and into Lake Hudson where we are. Then it runs through the dam here, a little bit further south, and into Fort Gibson Reservoir, which is just east of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hudson Lake, where we are, is just east of Pryor, Oklahoma. We're going to go out and do some exploration today. Haven't been here in about 10 years. George Tolson, a good buddy of mine, has shown me a couple of his good fishing spots. We'll try to catch a few bass on this week's show. While we're doing that, we're taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from lakes, rivers, and bays, both saltwater and freshwater, right where you live. This weekend's upcoming fishing reports. Right now, though, we're going to get the Nitro launched into Hudson Lake. Next time you see me, I'll be out there. Right now, we get it started back at the studio with your weekend planner.
Hi, everybody. These Lunar tables are predicting good fishing both days this weekend. Look for the prime daytime hours to begin around noon, with top evening action starting at 11:32 on Saturday and midnight on Sunday. The sun will rise at 7:31 and set at 7 o'clock. And we will have a full moon lighting up the night sky. Hang with us for freshwater and coastal information from around the region. Plus, the 2019 MLF World Champion Jacob Wheeler joins us to answer this week's Ask the Pro question.
As we head out today, I want to mention one little thing we're going to be doing differently. My brother, who's an attorney in Oklahoma City, always comes and shoots camera for us anytime we're around Oklahoma. Well, this week, I'm hanging a microphone on my brother Terry. We're going to roll video on each other today and see what we can find. So it's a two-brother shoot today, Barry and Terry, on this week's episode. Hang in here. Let's see what happens. We'll be right back to get started here on Hudson Lake.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide's wireless and easy-to-use XI3. Waypoint Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist. Strike King, Taiwan On. Nitro Performance Fishing Boats, because champions aren't born, they're made.
Hit a little Geenlaroo tattletale worm. And there is my first Hudson Lake bass in quite a while. Got him. Decent fish. Hot fish too. Man, all right, there's a start. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. We've made it out after waiting out a long thunderstorm for about 3 hours here on beautiful Hudson Lake, located between Grand Lake and Fort Gibson on the Grand River. Hit a little Geenlaroo tattletale worm. And there is my first Hudson Lake bass in quite a while. Beautiful green gold looking fish. Let him swim back. And away he goes. Well, let me give you a little information about the lake. As I mentioned, it's on the Grand River. It's the little brother to Grand Lake, which is upstream of here. It's about 12,000 surface acres, about 200 miles of shoreline, a lot of rock, a lot of trees lining the shoreline, but not a lot of standing timber out in the lake itself. The lake's fairly wide open, so what you're fishing here is a lot of rock drop-offs, a lot of rock points, a lot of underwater humps and structure. And but this is kind of the lay of the land right here. The water here is kind of a stained color, kind of a brownish color, but not muddy. But I will tell you, this lake is in recovery mode this year. It had a horrific spring and early part of the summer because it's a flood control lake, as all these lakes on the Grand River are, and this lake was tremendously high all spring long. All the boat ramps, all the launches were shut down. The lake has finally come back to closer to normal level. As we're here today, it's about 4 feet high, but it's holding steady. So hopefully that means that we'll be able to find a few bass. So that's a little information and one bass in the boat from Hudson Lake in northeast Oklahoma. Let's see what else happens. Get back to fishing, get rigged up here, get my spinning rod, see if we can catch another one.
Hey folks, Captain Greg Farm here for this week's Fox Southwest Outdoors Report. I tell you, fall has made its presence known here on the upper Texas coast. Water temps have fallen just a few degrees and it jump starts our bays. From Sabine to Matagorda, it is flounder time. Hey, concentrate on your drains, mouth of bayous and creeks, also your funnel areas where the bay empties to the Gulf. Hey, I'm gonna share a pro tip I use for flounder. When using live mullet or mudfish, instead of using a weight for your Carolina rig, hey, use a lead head with a soft plastic rigged on it and an 18-inch leader tied off the eye and hook your live bait behind it. Hey, drag the soft plastic along the bottom, trill with that live bait fish, and see what happens. You're gonna be surprised. Now the redfish run is in full swing. All the jetties from Sabine to Matagorda are hot right now for bull reds. And the back lakes and marshes here in Freeport are seeing lots of solid slot reds. We're catching them on top waters, soft plastics, and for the live bait fishermen, hey, mullet and shrimp are both working well. Hey, remember, if you want to fish Freeport or Galveston, inshore or offshore, and right now we're flounder gigging at night, give me a call or check out our websites. I'm Captain Greg Worm. I'll see you next time.
There's fish.
You got a bite?
Yep.
You got him?
Yep.
What is it, bass?
Yep. Not a big one.
You saw it?
He jumped.
Oh yeah. There you go.
He's a solid little chunk.
Got you a start. All right, we got us a fish. Now I mentioned in the open that we're shooting each other, so it's my turn on the camera and your turn on the bass.
All right.
You had him welded good?
Had him welded good. He ain't getting off. Gonna have to have the pliers.
Right under your left foot. What'd he hit?
He hit that little biffle bug right there.
Jean LaRue biffle bug. There it is, all curled up, and they're pretty nice bass. Your first Hudson Lake bass, I take it?
First Hudson Lake bass.
There you go. And back he goes. Way to go, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Give me a high five from behind the camera.
There we go.
A two-brother high five. Use that rod tip, hop it up and shake that rod tip. Let it fall back. Shake that rod tip like that. There's one. Up he comes. Spot. It worked. We made this move and it's paying off right now. Welcome back, everybody. Oh, big old spot, and he jumped off right there, but you got to see him. Welcome back to Hudson Lake in northeastern Oklahoma. The last time you saw us, we were down in the lower end of the lake, fishing some rock riprap and several different things. You saw some of that, but we've made a big move, a big change here. We ran all the way as far north as you can run up into the Grand River just to do something different. George Tolson, my good buddy that works for the Jean LaRue Lure Company, fishes here all the time, and he said, hey, if you want to catch a couple of nice spots, run all the way up in the Grand River and fish those bluffs along the edge of the river. So that's what we did, made this move, still fishing that little shaky head tattletale worm, and just using the trolling motor and gently moving along these rock bluffs. It's deep. It's 20 to 25 feet. Straight down off those sheer bluffs. And the technique for fishing these, generally I like to do it with a spinning rod, and you literally throw it right up against the bluff wall and then give it some slack and let it go down that bluff wall. Just let it feed its way down, and they'll either hit it on the way down, or use that rod tip, hop it up and shake that rod tip. Let it fall back. Shake that rod tip like that. Oh, there was another bite right there. Doggone it, he missed it. Let it fall back. Come back and get it, buddy. And that's exactly the way you catch them. And that's the way you catch a spot. And George says the spots live up in the river. And he said there's some good ones up here, some 2.5, 3 pounders, which for Oklahoma is a good spotted bass. Now those Alabama spots that live over there in Georgia and Alabama get to be 6 pounds. But for Oklahoma, it's not the same species. 2.5, 3 pound spotted bass is a really good one. Boy, they're biting it like crazy right now, just standing there talking. So we're gonna fish down this bluff wall just to give you a little different look, a little different feel for what Hudson is all about. First time here in 10 or 12 years, so I'm trying to re-familiarize myself with what this place looks like. Let's see what happens next.
Hi everybody, this week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you once again by McKenna Quinn. Elegant outdoor women's apparel made right here in Texas and made to last. Do something special for the outdoor lady in your life, McKenna Quinn. Now this week I want to tell you about a really cool event coming your way. It's put on by the Texas Rangers Foundation. That's the baseball Texas Rangers. It's called Cast for a Cause, and it's going to be at Lake Ray Hubbard at Chandler's Landing Marina on October the 19th. It's a team tournament, $250 entry fee, lots of great prizes. In order to get registered, you need to go to texasrangers.com/fish. Now, if you're going to fish the event or if you're just going to fish Ray Hubbard for some bass, there's a couple of things you need to know. Number one, riprap. There's a ton of riprap around the lake, especially the I-30 bridge, and it's going to hold a lot of bait fish and a lot of bass. You'll want to fish it with your square bill or shallow diving crankbaits, your spinner baits, your Cincos. You can even use shaky heads on these rocks. But be sure and fish on the windy side. That's going to be key to catching the fish. Also want to give a shout out on Lake Benbrook. We've recently heard that the ramps have been closed. So if you're considering fishing Lake Benbrook, you might want to either call ahead or check to see if they've reopened those ramps. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes. Don't forget, Cast for a Cause, October 19th, Lake Ray Hubbard, texasrangers.com/fish. Be sure and check us out on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
Got a bite?
Yep.
There he is. Got him. A jumper. I wonder if that's a spotty. Nope, largemouth. No, spotty. Bring him up here. There is a spotted bass. Just exactly what we're fishing for right there. And while you're unhooking him, and
Got him on that little worm right there.
little tattletale worm. That's a Jean LaRue. So you threw it actually in some brush along this bluff.
Yep,
right?
I actually threw it over a log and it was hanging off the backside when he hit it. And I had to set the hook and pull him up over the top.
You can see all that brush right along the bluff. And he's right in the edge of that stuff, which is
Right where he was supposed to be.
textbook. That's a cool thing about this lake is the fish we have caught have been on places where they're supposed to be. All right, it's action anyway.
That was good.
Spotted bass.
We'll be right back in just a moment. First, though, we want to pass along some of your big catch of the week photos. These entries didn't win, but we still wanted to share some of the great fish catches from around the area. Be sure to stick around for this week's winner at the end of today's show. We're coming right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Mercury, Go Boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Balls Out, made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
First cast out there and a bunch of shad flicking around and a nice bass bit. All right, that's really cool. Look at all these shad busting everywhere. I got a cast in them, hit it. Got him. That worked. Hey everybody, welcome back. Oh, that's a decent bass. We're on Hudson Lake and I was just fishing along a shoreline here, and I looked up and there were giant clouds of shad everywhere, all around me. I could just see these shad, and I just picked up a white Strike King Premier Pro spinnerbait. First cast out there, and a bunch of shad flicking around and a nice bass bit. All right, that's really cool. I actually saw the shad flicking first, and then I saw one fish actually blow up in the school, and I got a cast right on him, and he hit it just basically as soon as it hit the water. That is amazing. I stuck my power poles down to hold me steady so the wind wouldn't blow me right on top of the school. And I got a cast right in the middle of them. Man, you just never know. You've got to keep your eyes open. We're actually in the middle of making a move. My brother and I out here on Hudson Lake, east of Tulsa, Oklahoma, near the town of Pryor. And we're moving towards some willow trees, and that's another good pattern here, especially when the water level is up, is you want to fish these flooded willow trees. The key to them is finding the ones that are in a little bit deeper water. They need to be in like 2.5 to 4 foot of water. Those are the ones. And there's some right up here in front of us. Okay, there's those fish again. I see them blowing up out here. Let's see if I can get one more cast in these fish. Holy cow, I have found what could be the mother lode. But anyway, fishing these willow trees and then watching for the shad busting around, that seems to be a couple of good patterns here. So hang in here, let's see if we can catch another one here. And then we'll move up tight to the willows and see if we can catch a couple out of there.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here from Cajun Paradise Charters on Lake Calcasieu. I'll tell you what, this week we're going to start off talking about saltwater right here on Lake Calcasieu. Hadn't brought it up in a while, but I tell you what, the fish are in a fall pattern. Lots of speckled trout getting caught under the birds, throwing soft plastics on light jig heads. I tell you what, Rockport Rattler 1/8 and 1/4 ounce jig heads seem to be the key there. Also, live shrimp under a cork if you have to fish for them. Redfish accents turning on big time. One of my guides, Captain Ben Boudreau, had a couple days off. He actually went over to the Chaffalot Basin last week, told me he caught plenty of bass, had lots of 2 and 3 pounders, caught them on spinner baits, buzz baits, top water, said it didn't matter however you wanted to fish, he caught plenty of fish. For old Cajun Phil, it's Captain Kevin Broussard saying happy fishing, may God bless, and we're gonna see you next week.
Well, we finally got to that time here in Oklahoma that all of us anglers really look forward to, the fall, where the air temperatures have cooled, the water temperatures are cooling, the fish are really active, and you can catch them. Now, Charles Jewell has given me a great white bass report from Lake Murray. He said lots of schooling activity going on at that lake, especially in the evening hours on the main lake points. And he likes to fish an umbrella rig, also called an A-rig, that features multiple baits on the same rig. Now, Charles also said the smallmouth bass at Lake Murray are really active right now as well. He said a lot of small fish, but man, they are so much fun to catch. He said for those, concentrate on the secondary points and throw soft plastic. He said catching some on a biffle bug, on a hard hit on the bottom, but also using a twin tail grub, smallmouth are a blast to catch. Great fishing in Oklahoma is going to keep getting better as temperatures continue to fall, and you can catch them, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
You can always watch our latest episode on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Catch up on past episodes and learn about fishing techniques and new gear at our how-to page. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for new fishing videos every day. Simply search for Fox Sports Outdoors and click the like button on Facebook and the follow button on Twitter, and watch a new episode every week on any device by downloading the free Waypoint TV app on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Request our free 2019 fishing guide at orangebeach.com. Lose, feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland, the best in bass and crappie lures, heads to tails. Glacier Glove, stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro question, where we get a chance for insight from professional anglers. This week, Leo wants to know, what is the maddest you have been while fishing? For the answer, we checked with MLF champion Jacob Wheeler.
Day number 1, Ross Barnett, Elite Series event 2 years ago. I flip in the mat, and it's a super shallow mat, throwing a big weight, goes through the mat, and it was probably only like maybe 1.5 feet deep, and it just keeps going. And I was mad at myself, you know, and I'm like, huh. And I just dawned on me it was one instant. Like I picked up and it's swimming down. I'm like, oh. I set the hook and it comes swimming towards me. It's like a 7-8 pounder, and it comes off. And I end up losing angler of the year. I end up with 3 fish that tournament, or that first day. I missed the cut by like a couple ounces. And that one fish, just that one fish, I lost angler of the year by 15 points. That one fish would have been, and potentially could have been different for AOI. So that's the one time that I could say I was probably the maddest.
Thank you, Jacob. If you have a question to ask one of the pros, just visit our website, click on the Ask the Pro link, and let us know. Now let's see who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
Back at the boat ramp, and it's time right now for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. He's Bill Kimbrell of Bishop, Texas, showing a 10.13 pound largemouth bass he caught at Lake Corpus Christi, Texas. If you'd like to be our next winner, just go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Fox Sports Outdoors. Go to our Tuesday post and click comment, add your big fish onto the comment along with the information we request on where the fish was caught, your name, your city, all of those particulars, and you just might be our next winner. Here's the gear that we used to catch the bass and a few bonus catfish here on Lake Hudson in Oklahoma. And it begins with a fantastic top-of-the-line, high-end Lew's, Team Lew's Pro TI matched rod and reel. This is the Team Lew's Speed Stick rod, and this particular one that I was using was a 7-foot medium action rod. You can tell it by the purple color, the purple wind grips on the handle. It's got great action, perfectly matched with the Team Lew's Pro TI Speed Spool Reel. Again, it's got all the goodies on it. It's the top of the line bait cast reel from Lew's. As far as the baits are concerned, we used about 4 baits to catch most of these fish. Beginning on the left, that's a Jean LaRue tattletale worm. We had it rigged on a 3/8 ounce lead jig head. Then next to that, that's a Texas rigged Jean LaRue biffle bug. We had that rigged on a 1/4 ounce weight. Then next to that, we caught some fish on a crankbait. That's a KVD square bill crankbait by Strike King. And then the bait on your far right is a Strike King spinnerbait. That's a Strike King Premier Pro spinnerbait, a white or a white and chartreuse. Both worked very well for these bass. There was a pretty good movie out not too long ago starring Clint Eastwood called The Mule. You may have seen that movie. There's a custom written song by Toby Keith toward the end of the movie. I love this song. The title of the song is Don't Let the Old Man In. And my favorite lyric in the song says, ask yourself how old you would be if you didn't know the day you were born. Now, I turned officially senior citizen just this year, but even though I'm over 62 years of age and quote unquote a senior citizen, I fully do not intend to act like one. We're only limited by the limits we place on ourselves. So do this, go out and start something new, a new project, a new relationship, go to church for the first time. There are lots of things to explore in this life if you simply don't let the old man in. I hope you enjoyed our trip to Hudson Lake, east of Tulsa, Oklahoma, near the town of Pryor, and all the good bass fishing that we found out here on the lake. Our special thanks to George Tolson of the Jean LaRue Lure Company. He helped us find some of these spots and locate some bass. And my thanks to my brother Terry for coming on the show, wearing a microphone, and helping us catch a few fish as well. We'll see you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe. Have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.